Oh, ha, Eloira, Maya say, Yaseli Adam, ha, Vaya Liloira, oh, Maya Seli Adam, yay, da, 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 hi, da, 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 dum, da, 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 hi, da, 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 oh, ha, vaya, lilo, ira, Maya say, Yaseli Adam, ha, Vaya Lilo Ira, oh Maya Seli Adam, I am. Da 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 da, hi da 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 da, hi da 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 dum, da 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 da, hi da 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 da. One more time, hi da 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 da. Hi da 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 da. Hi da 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 dum. Da 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 da. Hi da 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 da. Oh, ha, vaya, lilo, ira. Maya say, Yaseli Adam, ha, Vaya Lilo Ira, oh Maya Seli Adam, Min Hametza Karatia, Anani, Bamerchavia, Min Hametza Karatia, Anani, Bamerchavia. One last time. Oh, Havaya, Lilo Ira, Maya say, Yaseli Adam, Havaya, Lilo Ira, oh, Maya Seli Adam.
Thank you all for being here, because it's so much easier to do this practice and to keep bringing our attention back to this present moment, to the breathing body, when we have the support of each other. I'm Bobby Isberg. This is Reggie Silberberg and Yocheved Sheila Katz. We all just checked and we turned off our cell phones, so we hope you have as well. And together with Reb Moshe, we'll be leading contemplative Torah study on each of the high holidays services, as well as meditation right before Ne'ilah on Yom Kippur. And we're always on Zoom sitting together. Those are all in person. We're always on Zoom together on Friday mornings for our Nishmat Hayyim meditations. So tonight we'll each have a brief introduction to a 7 or 8 minute silence, ending with the sound of a bell. Just remember that our shared practice of being together, bringing our attention back to the present moment, is the most important thing, rather than feeling like you should listen to our words. Just let the words come and go. And because it's Selichot, we've come together to do the hard work of seeing ourselves as we actually are, including our shortcomings. The origin of this practice is described by Rabbi Alan Liu in a book we often refer to, This Is Real and You're Completely Unprepared. David knew that the temple would be destroyed in the future and that the people would no longer be able to make atonement through ritual sacrifice. So how were people to make atonement? God said to David, "When troubles come upon Israel, let them stand together before me as a single unit and make confession before me and say the Selichot service before me, and I will answer them." So we've come together to make confession. How does meditation help us? In our sitting practice, we learn how to stay present with all the uncomfortable feelings that arise. We turn the mind again and again to whatever is arising, the delightful, the disturbing. And we learn to watch our thoughts come and go, and our feelings arise and pass, like the breath, like the sounds in the room. And the thoughts never stop. And we don't try to stop them. With practice, we get better at watching them come and go without getting caught up in planning or working things out, and without pushing them away. As we practice welcoming everything that arises without judgment, we begin to get more comfortable being with ourselves just as we are, rather than to focus on stories about ourselves as kind or unkind, generous or stingy. And this practice of non-judgment makes it possible for us to acknowledge our flaws as well as our beauty, and makes genuine confession possible. So here we have this paradox. Practicing non-judging is helping us prepare for the day of judgment, to see ourselves more genuinely as we are seen by others, and as we imagine being seen by the all-knowing consciousness of Yud-He Vav-He. So if we do all this inner work, why do we need the God of Jewish practice to judge us each year? Because in order to recognize the impact of our actions on others, we need to take a look from a perspective outside ourselves. We need to ask, how does my behavior look from the perspective of God? If we imagine this unknowable, indescribable God as the creative force and organizing principle of all life, what would God's perspective be? All humans are created and cared for by God. All the earth was set in motion by this unknowable force. And so we realize we have to ask how our actions impact all of humanity and all of life. Our political actions and non-actions, our social justice actions and non-actions, from the perspective of God. Fortunately, our tradition teaches the God who judges is the God of infinite compassion. So can we bring that attitude to ourselves as we sit in silence, bringing both the capacity for clear seeing of what actually is there, what is arising in each moment, what is coming and going in our minds, and tapping into that infinite compassion toward ourselves, toward everything that arises. So arranging the body in a practice to support awareness, bringing attention to the experience, the sensation of each breath as it enters, aerates, and leaves the body.
do. Hi da da da, ya da 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 da. Hi da da da, hi da da da, ya da 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 da. Hi da 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 da, hi da 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 da, hi da 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 da, ya da 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 da. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva. Hashivenu Havaya elecha v'nashuva. Chadesh yameinu, Chadesh yameinu, Chadesh yameinu, Kedem. Chadesh yameinu, Chadesh yameinu, Chadesh yameinu, Kedem. Hi da da da, hi da da da, hi da 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 da. Hi da da da, hi da da da, ya da 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 da. Hi da 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 da, hi da 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 da, hi da 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 da, hi da 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 da. Hashivenu Adonai necha v'nashuva. Haynu havaya. Chadesh yameinu, Chadesh yameinu, Chadesh yameinu, Kedem. Chadesh yameinu, Chadesh yameinu, Chadesh yameinu, Kedem. Hi da da da, hi da da da, ya da 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 da. Hi da da da, hi da da da, ya da 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 da.
An ancient midrash teaches us that tshuva, return or repentance, was created before the creation of the world. Tshuva is not only a mitzvah, but a cosmic process that lies at the basis of all nature. To say that tshuva pre-exists means that forgiveness and wanting to repair damages are built into our world, into our relationships. We begin to see the capacity for reassessment, regret, transformation as part of our original design. To engage in tshuva is to accept the gift of both being able to forgive and the opportunity to ask for forgiveness. It's a time to see how we missed the mark, how to make amends, a time to allow our hearts to be filled with compassion, to be mindful of our relationships. Tshuva is the task of aligning our actions with the divine, that spark of the divine within each of us so that we're able to make wise decisions. Hineni, here I am, here you are. Tshuva empowers us to be born anew, to recreate ourselves, letting go of some of the hindrances that prevent us from being in the moment and in God's house. Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz says that even though the past is fixed, repentance allows us to rise above the past, to change its significance for the present and for the future. It is the potential for something else. Rav Kook writes that tshuva immediately lights the darkness and returns the person to the root of one's soul, a return to God, to the soul of souls. To me, tshuva, returning to the divine, Yud-He Vav-He, is being with forgiveness for others and ourselves. It is being with my true self, without the veils that cloak me in my daily life. Tshuva is vitar libenu le'avdecha be'emet. Purify our hearts that we may serve you in truth. Tshuva is acknowledging that we've caused suffering both for others and ourselves. It is returning to love and compassion, returning to lev tahor, a pure heart, returning to our highest aspirations of goodness, returning to wholeness, to wisdom, and returning to that spark of the divine within each of us. With our meditation practice, there is the possibility of practicing tshuva every day. As we sit in silence, being with whatever arises, pleasant or unpleasant, we expand awareness, deepen awareness of emet, truth. Rabbi Jonathan Slater says that what we really seek to return to is the truth of our lives, the truth of who we are as human beings, the truth of our joys and our sorrows, our dreams and our disappointments, our triumphs and our suffering, the truth of our relationships and our actions, our thoughts and our feelings, and our ability to live authentic, meaning-filled lives. Rabbi Mordechai Kaplan said, God is that aspect of reality which elicits from us the best that is in us and enables us to bear the worst that can befall us. Jewish spiritual practices aim to promote awareness of and access to that which helps us more nearly and more often to be our best selves. Later this evening, we'll be chanting the 13 attributes, reflections on God's forgiving nature, that God the divine is compassionate, patient, and righteous. Jewish tradition teaches that when we speak to God and meditate on these attributes, we will never come away empty-handed. Opening our hearts in the moment of prayer and chanting these 13 attributes allows our relationship with the divine to manifest more deeply, to enter into an expanded awareness, to become one with God's energy as we cry out the words both outwardly and inwardly, as we reach for and humbly ask for forgiveness. Meditation helps us to experience life unfolding at the present moment. It invites us to accept it fully with each breath, all that arises with loving, gentle kindness. The practice opens our hearts, our armor shatters, our hearts expand, enabling us to accept what is at this unique moment in time. It empowers us to love others and ourselves without judgment, or being with the judgment we notice. Tonight, let us sit in the house of Yud-He Vav-He. Let us return again and again with each breath. Let us go deeper to hear that still small voice, that spark of the divine, that part of us that's B'Tselem Elohim. Let us breathe into that space and allow that space to breathe us, and lovingly allow the sacred within to infuse our being.
Return again, return again, return to the home of our soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Ay, da, da, da. Hi da da da, ya da 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 da. Hi da da da, hi da da da, ya da 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 da. Hi da 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 da, hi da 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 da, hi da 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 da. Hi da 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 da, 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 hi da 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 da. Return again. Return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Hashivenu. Hi da 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 da, hi da 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 da, hi da 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 da, Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva. Hashivenu Havaya Elecha v'nashuva. Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu, Kekedem. Hay da 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 da, 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 hay da da da, hay da da da, ya da 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 da, hay da da da. Hi da da da, ya da 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 da. So I want to read just a few paragraphs from the very beginning of you. This is real, and you are completely unprepared. by Rabbi Alan Liu of blessed memory, who was a teacher of mine. I love to come back to his words. So this chapter is called "The Soul Stretches Out to Contain Itself," a map of the journey. You are walking through the world half asleep. It isn't just that you don't know who you are and that you don't know how or why you got here. It's worse than that. These questions never even arise. It's as if you're in a dream. Then the walls of the great house that surrounds you crumble and fall. You tumble out onto a strange street, suddenly conscious of your estrangement and your homelessness. A great horn sounds, calling you to remembrance, but all you can remember is how much you have forgotten. Every day for a month, you sit and try to remember who you are and where you are going. By the last week of this month, your need to know these things weighs upon you. Your prayers become urgent. Then the great horn sounds in earnest 100 times. The time of transformation is upon you. The world is once again cracking through the shell of its egg to be born. The gate between heaven and earth creaks open. The book of life, the book of death are opened once again, and your name is written in one of them. But you don't know which one. The 10 days that follow are fraught with meaning and dread. They are days when it is perfectly clear every second that you live in the midst of a chain of ineluctable consequence. That everything you do, every prayer you utter, every intention you form, every act of compassion you perform, ripples out from the center of your being to the end of time. Anger and its terrible cost lie naked before you. Grievance gives way to forgiveness. At the same time, you become aware that you also stand at the end of a long chain of consequences. Many things are beyond your control. They are part of a process that was set in motion long, long ago. You find this idea unbearable. Then, just when you think you can't tolerate this one moment more, you are called to gather with a multitude in a great hall. A court has convened high up on the altar in the front of the hall. Make way! Make way, the judges of the court proclaim, for everyone must be included in the proceeding. No one, not even the usual outcasts, may be excluded. You are told that you are in possession of a great power, the power of speech, that you will certainly abuse. You are already forgiven for having abused it in the past, but in the end, it will save you. For the next 24 hours, you rehearse your own death. You wear a shroud, and like a dead person, you neither eat nor drink nor fornicate. You summon the desperate strength of life's last moments. A great wall of speech is hurled against your heart again and again. A fist beats against the wall of your heart relentlessly until you are broken-hearted and confess to your great crime, which is you are a human being, guilty of every crime imaginable. Your heart is cracking through its shell to be reborn. Then a chill grips you. The gate between heaven and earth has suddenly begun to close. The multitude has swollen. It's almost as if a great hall has magically expanded to to include an infinity of desperate souls. This is your last chance. Everyone has run out of time. Every heart has been broken. The gate clangs shut. The great horn sounds one last time. And you feel curiously lighthearted and clean. That's what I'm doing. Havaya, Havaya, El Rachum B'Chanun, Erech Alpayim, Rav Rav Hesed Ve'emet. I don't know if I'm in the right key. Let me start again. I think I'm in the wrong key. Let's see. Havaya, Havaya, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Alpayim, V'Rav Chesed Ve'emet. Hesed לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. אדוני, אדוני, רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. הוויה אדוני רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. What's the last? Right.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here. There'll be a teaching by Or Rose at 10:30. So you could get up and stretch and keep being mindful of what you're doing, trying to be in the present moment. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.